The alien jungle was alive with strange, pulsing light. Bioluminescent plants swayed as though breathing, and thick vines twisted around towering, crystalline trees. Dr. Ilara Quinn stepped cautiously through the undergrowth, her boots barely making a sound on the soft, spongy ground. She had traversed dangerous worlds before, but something about this planet felt different. Predators lurked everywhere, and the air was heavy with the scent of unknown life. Ilara's heart didn't race, though. It had been a long journey from Earth, and she had faced species far more lethal than any cubs could ever be. Her mission was simple: observe the alien ecosystem and gather data on its apex predators. But her instincts told her this encounter wouldn't be routine. A sudden rustle from the bushes ahead froze her mid-step. Her hand instinctively went to her utility belt, but she didn't draw her sidearm. The rustling grew louder, followed by a low, grumbling growl that vibrated through the jungle floor. Then, in a sudden flurry of movement, a group of predator cubs leapt into the clearing. The creatures were small but agile, their bodies covered in iridescent fur, patterned with jagged stripes that seemed to shimmer with every subtle movement. Their eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, reflecting intelligence and hunger. Yet, curiously, a hint of hesitation lingered in their stances. They were young, inexperienced hunters, testing the boundaries of their world. The cubs crouched low, tails flicking in rapid agitation, teeth bared. They hissed in unison, claws scraping against rocks and branches, creating a staccato rhythm meant to intimidate. Ilara studied them carefully. Most humans would have frozen, screamed, or run, but she remained calm, her mind racing through possibilities. She knew that in predator behavior, hesitation often revealed opportunity. One particularly bold cub lunged forward, teeth snapping. Ilara didn't flinch. Instead, she let out a soft, amused chuckle, a sound entirely foreign to the cubs. They paused mid-pounce, heads tilting, ears swiveling, unsure how to react. Ilara took a deliberate step forward, her eyes locking onto the cubs. "Curious little ones," she murmured. "You think you can scare me?" The cubs hissed again, sharper this time, trying to regain the upper hand. Yet every movement betrayed their indecision. They were predators, yes, but they were also children of their kind, untested and naive. Ilara could see it in their twitching tails, the way their muscles tensed and relaxed, the cautious way they circled her. A low, playful growl escaped her lips. Then, unexpectedly, a laugh bubbled up from deep inside her chest, a fearless, genuine laugh that rang through the alien jungle. The cubs froze completely. They had expected fear. They had expected flight. But laughter? That was something entirely unknown. For the first time in their short lives, the cubs hesitated. Their instincts told them to attack. Their curiosity told them to observe. And in that moment, the balance of power subtly shifted. The human wasn't afraid. The human was challenging them in a way that went beyond teeth and claws. Ilara smiled, already forming a plan. If the cubs wanted to play their intimidation game, she could play too, but she would do it her way, human style. And in that glowing jungle, under the alien sky, the predator cubs were about to learn that courage and laughter could be a force they had never reckoned with. The cubs blinked at her, their glowing eyes wide, muscles coiled like springs. They had expected prey to scream or freeze, but laughter? That was a response no predator had ever encountered. Hesitation rippled through the pack, tiny growls breaking off into confused whines. Alara didn't give them a chance to recover. She crouched low, matching their posture, and let out another deep, resonant laugh. This one was playful, almost teasing. "Come on, little ones, is that all you've got?" she challenged, her voice carrying a warmth that betrayed no fear. The boldest cub, a sleek creature with stripes that flickered violet in the dim light, launched forward in a sudden lunge. Alara sidestepped gracefully, her movement precise and deliberate. She tripped a low branch with her boot, sending it snapping against the ground, an impromptu trick that startled the cub and made it stumble. A ripple of surprise ran through the other cubs. They lunged again, this time coordinating their movements, trying to corner her against a thick tangle of glowing vines. Alara clapped her hands loudly, making a sharp cracking sound. The cubs froze mid-pounce. Humans were strange, she knew, but their unpredictability seemed almost like a weapon. Every instinct the cubs relied on, fear, dominance, surprise, was being turned upside down. Laughing again, Alara started mimicking their movements, low crouches, playful swipes of her hands, and even a little growl that echoed theirs. The cubs tilted their heads, curiosity overtaking aggression. They tested her with small pounces, brushing past her legs, then darting back. Instead of panicking, she let the cubs win in small ways, dodging just barely, letting one swipe her sleeve, and even pretending to stumble. Each playful interaction earned a ripple of confidence, both in the cubs and in her own control of the encounter. Minutes stretched into an hour as the game escalated. Alara noticed patterns. One cub always led. Another hesitated. A third tried to flank her repeatedly. With every move, she adapted, improvising techniques that weren't brute force. They were human ingenuity in action. She used hand signals, body language, and sounds, creating an unspoken dialogue between species. The cubs, initially intent on intimidation, began chasing shadows, testing her reactions with playful lunges. Their growls softened into tentative chirps. They were learning something new. This human wasn't just surviving, she was teaching them, teasing them, and somehow outsmarting them at their own game. Alara paused and extended her hand slowly, palm open, toward the boldest cub. It sniffed the air, nose twitching, then tapped her palm with a cautious paw. A ripple of laughter escaped her again. The moment was fragile, trust was still being earned, but it was a start. Night was beginning to creep across the glowing jungle, and Alara knew the real challenge wasn't just surviving the cubs' play, it was keeping them alive when darkness brought true predators. Yet in that moment, the tables had turned. The hunter's cubs were learning to respect her wit, courage, and humor. And she, a human far from home, was proving something essential. Fearlessness and ingenuity could bend even instinctive predators to a new understanding. In the dim, alien light, laughter became her weapon. Curiosity became her ally. And in the jungle's strange rhythms, the predator cubs were discovering a species unlike any they had ever encountered. Humans.
2 weeks later, the Galactic Academy's serenity shattered. A cascade of alarms screamed through the halls, their piercing tones bouncing off steel and glass. The emergency intercom blared in multiple languages. "Containment breach in the drone bay. Repeat, rogue combat units active in Sector 12. Cadets rushed through corridors, scrambling for shelter. Through the viewport windows, Ryan could see streaks of plasma arcing across the hangar below. Security drones, hundreds of them, gone berserk. Their targeting arrays glowed red. Commander Vale barked orders, calm but sharp. Seal the eastern wing. No one engages without authorization. Ryan watched as two alien cadets tried to lock down a blast door, only to be pinned by shrapnel from a ruptured drone. Without thinking, he sprinted forward, the relic humming faintly on his back. "Cadet, halt!" Vale shouted. "Fall back! That's an order!" But he didn't stop. The relic vibrated, its glow intensifying like it sensed the chaos. When Ryan unsheathed it, the blade erupted in blinding blue fire, the hum transforming into a low, resonant chorus. The first drone lunged. Ryan met him head-on. The sword carved through metal like paper, leaving a glowing wound that sealed itself with molten edges. The impact shook his arms, but the blade guided him, smooth, precise, almost alive. More drones swarmed. He didn't fight, he moved, each step an echo of that ancient dream. Sparks lit the hangar as the sword's energy field deflected plasma bolts, bending light itself. Cadets watched in stunned silence as the primitive human danced through machine fire, his every strike carrying the weight of something older than the stars. "Impossible," Vale whispered from behind the safety barrier. "He's not controlling it. It's syncing with him." Ryan felt his heartbeat match the relic's pulse, one rhythm, one purpose. Then, above the roar, a single drone detonated near the power conduit. Warning lights flared crimson. The central reactor's stabilizer cracked, countdown flashing across every display. "Core breach in 30 seconds. He knew the protocol, evacuate, but he also knew the others wouldn't make it in time. Ryan tightened his grip. "Guess we find out what you can really do." The sword flared white-hot, its glow wrapping around him like armor. He drove it into the floor, and a shockwave rippled outward, a shield of energy expanding in all directions. The explosion hit like a god's roar, hurling flames and metal into the barrier. When the smoke cleared, the hangar was a crater of molten steel. The shield had collapsed, but the cadets were alive. Every one of them. Ryan stood in the center, barely upright, smoke rising from his uniform. The relic's glow dimmed, now soft and slow, like a fading heartbeat. Vale approached, eyes wide with disbelief. That wasn't technology. That was something else. Ryan smiled faintly, exhaustion pulling at his voice. "Old Terran craftsmanship. We build things that remember how to protect." And then he collapsed, the relic still warm in his hand.
When Ryan woke, the ceiling above him shimmered with holographic light. The air was heavy with the sterile scent of med gel. His body ached, but he was alive, barely. Beside his bed, the relic rested on a glass pedestal, pulsing faintly like it was keeping watch. Outside the medical bay, he heard the hum of voices, too many for comfort. The door slid open, revealing Commander Vale, flanked by 2 members of the Galactic Council. They weren't here to congratulate him. Vale's expression was unreadable as the elder counselor spoke, voice resonant and cool. "You've caused quite a disturbance, human. The relic you wielded is no ordinary artifact. Our archives record it as the Forge Heart, lost since the fall of Terra. It was thought to be nothing more than legend." Ryan struggled to sit up. "Then maybe your legends forgot what humans were capable of." The second counselor's tone sharpened. "What you call courage nearly destroyed an entire section of the Academy. That relic's power exceeds containment limits. Explain how you activated it." Ryan looked at the blade, glowing faintly through the glass. "I didn't activate it. It remembered." A flicker of unease crossed their faces. Vale stepped closer. "Remembered what?" Ryan hesitated, then told them about the visions, the forges, the chants, the vow to protect the stars even after humanity fell silent. As he spoke, the relic's pulse quickened, sinking to his words. The forge heart wasn't built as a weapon. It was a promise, a living memory of what we used to be. The elder counselor folded his hands, and yet it destroyed a swarm that no alliance weapon could breach. Are you implying humanity's extinct technology surpassed ours? Ryan smiled faintly. Not technology, will. You can't build that in a lab. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Vale surprised them all. Perhaps we should stop treating this species as an anomaly, she said quietly. He didn't just save cadets, he saved us from our own arrogance. The counselors exchanged glances, then nodded slowly. The relic will remain under study, the elder said, but the human may continue his training under observation. Ryan exhaled, a half-smile forming. Wouldn't have it any other way. When they left, Vale lingered. Her voice softened. You know, Holt, when I handed you that sword, I meant to humiliate you. He grinned. Yeah, didn't quite work out, did it? Vale looked at the relic. No, it seems the galaxy still has much to learn about your kind. Ryan stood, wincing, and reached for the sword. The moment his fingers brushed the hilt, it flared to life, brighter than ever before, filling the room with light. And deep beneath the academy, sensors started to spike as other relics, forgotten Terran artifacts sealed in vaults, started to glow in response. The forge heart's hum deepened, almost proud. Ryan looked out the viewport at the endless field of stars. Guess it's time humanity stopped being a footnote. And somewhere across the galaxy, the forges of old Earth stirred, their light returning after 1,000 years of silence.